Hey, Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today we are taking a look at the Riddler from Batman Forever. This is the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Collect to Build a Nightmare Bat series, which is possibly the dumbest, most worthless Build-A-Figure of all time. But I wanted to have these characters and these looks because these were an iconic part of my pop culture life. And even though I'm not even that big a fan of Batman Forever, this look and Jim Carrey, this is something special. So I wanted to have this. I wanted to have this and Robin and Two-Face because they're very, very toyetic. I hadn't thought about this in years. So I remember one of my most vivid dreams that I remember having was before the Batman Forever toys hit. And I want to say it was like a Tomart's Toy Guide or whatever they were at the time. This was pre-Toy Fair. But I was working at Video Game Exchange and I was looking through the toy, whatever it was, and it had a preview of the new Batman Forever figures from Kenner and the new Star Wars figures from Kenner that were coming out in '95. And I remember, I vividly, specifically remember having a dream. This is what kind of lunatic toy collector I am, of going into a KB Toys and finding the new Batman Forever and Star Wars figures in a section side by side. They had in my dream, they had pretty much the same packaging. Like they looked like same packaging design. They had obviously different graphics and everything on them, but the shape of the packaging was the same. And I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, I want these figures so bad. We've got a trading card that I will be throwing in the trash, but it is, for all intents and purposes, a pretty good trading card, direct from the movie poster. Jim Carrey as Edward Nygma. Let's get everything out of here. I'm sure, we've got some little plastic tabs to remove. So I've talked many times on the channel about at conventions and in every format I possibly could about Batman the 1989 movie and how formative it was and how huge it was and the impact that it had on my brain at the age of 13. And then 6 years later, which seemed like an eternity then and seems like nothing now, we get the third movie. This is just terrible. I'll just because I don't have the head because I didn't want to buy the Kilmer Batman, but I'll go ahead and put this stupid thing together as we go along. Oh, that's the stand. I guess that comes with the head. So wait, this must go on this side. There we go. All right, there's part of this stupid giant bat. Okay, anyway, moving along. So we got Batman, then we got Batman Returns. I absolutely adored both of those movies. And then Burton chose not to direct another one. And I can't remember if it was because Keaton wasn't coming back or what the deal was, but whatever the case, Burton was not doing a third. And initially, Batman Forever was very exciting because Jim Carrey was on the hottest hot streak that anybody has ever. This is like just terrible bendy rubber. I hate this. This is awful. Jim Carrey was on the hottest hot streak ever in Hollywood. Ace Ventura, The Mask, coming off In Living Color. He was possibly at this point the biggest star in the world. So my biggest concern with this figure was that the greens would not match across the different body parts. And I've got to say they've matched everything pretty well. I think it looks pretty good. Obviously, aesthetically, some of the joints where they are could look better. I still don't like these shoulders that McFarlane uses, but that is, as I said in the Robin review, that's just something you have to deal with if you're going to buy McFarlane's toys, and if you want to have a mass market retail priced version of these characters, then you're gonna buy the McFarlane toys. And if you don't, if you can live without them, and good for you if you can, it's probably a good decision. Then you can say, well, this doesn't work. That's not going to work for me. But the greens all match, so that was my number one concern, and they've done a really good job of it. Now, the one thing I didn't think about was the tampos not being satisfactory, and obviously we've got a complete lack of question marks on the sides, which is not accurate, and then on the inside of the arms as well, because they wanted to save money on the process and not have to do more tampo applications than were absolutely necessary for the figure, because you can get the front of these pieces in a run, I guess, the back of these pieces in a run, but then it would require additional deco runs to do the sides and the insides of the legs. I believe that's how that works. And of course, there's nothing on these big ugly shoulder cups. So his deco, from the front, I'll stand him on the shelf like this, and I'll never look at him from the side, and I'll be like, oh, well, he's got no question marks on his knees. That looks stupid. But other than that, he looks pretty good. I don't know. I just, again, mass market retail figure. There's some things they're just going to be the way that they are. But overall, at a glance, I think he looks pretty good. I like the shade of green that they used. Let's take a look at this portrait here, which I think looks fantastic. Jim Carrey's face is a comedy machine. If you have not, just like Robin, there's some paint out of place here. I don't love it, but again, it's just kind of what you deal with when you buy McFarlane. So Jim Carrey's face is absolutely incredible. If you've not watched them, go back and watch Ace Ventura, go back and watch The Mask, go back and find clips from In Living Color on YouTube, Fire Marshal Bill. Jim Carrey is a comedic genius who would grow and evolve and become just a Hollywood powerhouse. I'm still, to this day, a huge fan of his work, and that's the face I would have chosen for this figure. The hair looks great, which I thought at the time was very obnoxious. I went to the theater to see Batman Forever, and it's one of the first times that I think I was let down by a movie in an adult way. I don't know quite how to explain it. Like, up to that point, I think I just went to see movies and I was like, yeah, that was cool, that was great. I think this is the first time where I had the realization, like, oh, movies aren't always good. Sometimes movies disappoint you. Unlike Robin, this Riddler stands up. Sometimes they aren't what you want, and what do you do? I love the way they placed the question marks that are on the figure. They do look really good. They look right. So that's nice. Articulation is pretty standard for McFarlane. Oh, yeah, I do need to put him in some kind of goofy, wacky pose, though. You can't just have him standing there, can you? So joints are a little tight, but everything is moving nicely. I got ratcheting joints in the knees and in the elbows. So yeah, he moves around pretty well. So I'll find some kind of crazy pose for him. And I would not be opposed to, if they want to do the white suit from the end of the movie, and if they wanted to do him with the jacket and the bowler hat, I would buy multiple versions of this, again, just because of how it's not that I think he was a great Riddler, but he was a great character. And we'll get to that conversation with Two-Face as well tomorrow. But I'll buy all those looks. They're all very toyetic, and it's all Jim Carrey being just incredible, over the top scenery. Excuse me, scenery chewing. It comes with a stand that he will. Well, once I get him into whatever crazy pose I want to put him in, he might need the stand, but he can just stand up without it. So we will put him off to the side. He's got a couple of C-grips on there. Comes with a hand, presumably to hold his little bat grenade, and then a fist for punching when he balls up his little fist and tries to do some fighting. I like it. When Two-Face shows him how to make a fist. Like I said, the cane looks great, but it is just rubber. It's terrible. But it does, I mean, it's the right shape. It looks good. The question mark looks good. And then finally, this, which I didn't even realize was in there, his little bat bomb, little bat grenade, whatever it is, that he uses to blow up the Batcave. Fantastic. Great little addition, nice piece that I wouldn't have thought of. But it looks good. Very well done. All right, so there it is. Jim Carrey's Riddler, a toyetic, iconic movie figure. Certainly not the best filmed adaptation or interpretation of the Riddler, but one of the most iconic characters ever to appear in a live-action Batman production. Very, very memorable. And just, you know, Jim Carrey. It's an opportunity to have a Jim Carrey figure. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about needless things. And until next time, buy what you like.
Smash that like button if you like needless things.